Tonight on KSL Outdoors.
There we go.
It's the annual spawn of the endemic Bonneville Whitefish of Bear Lake. Nice. Oh, big fish. Everyone has ice fishing on their mind, but there's still some soft water and some great fishing to be had. I'm Adam Eakle, and KSL Outdoors starts right now.
KSL Outdoors with Adam Eakle is brought to you by your local Ford stores.
Often called the Caribbean of the Rockies because of its unique turquoise blue waters, Bear Lake is a crowded lake in the summer, but not so much in the winter. We have the lake to ourselves today, and our target is a fish not many anglers chase. It's the Bonneville Whitefish. And Bear Lake is the only place on Earth you can catch them. One thing you don't expect is the ramp to be frozen up. We got a call from old Coot, who's here ahead of us, and he said, bring some salt. The ramp is slick, so if you come up, bring some change, four-wheel drive. You might not get the boat out. Hopefully we'll get on the water here in just a second. And a little for good luck.
We're up here to try to catch this elusive whitefish I always keep hearing about.
Never done it, huh?
Never done it, first try. A lot of people talk about it. Figured I'd come up and give it a try, see what the big excitement is about them.
You got old Tube Dude's jigs?
Yep. He showed me, bought some from him, kind of showed me how to do it, so I'm excited to try them.
Well, we'll see you out there.
Okay.
If you're an angler and you're coming up here and you want to target them, one of the things you're going to look for is you're going to look for fairly shallow water, from 7 to 13 feet of water, and you're going to find them either on sandy flats or cobbled bottoms.
Somewhere in here, 10 feet. Well, let's give this a whirl, huh?
We're fishing with an old buddy of mine, Ralph Naylor, and his brother Terry, avid anglers who fish here quite a bit. Also joining us is Nathan and his neighbor Norm. I met these guys at Sportsman's Warehouse the night before. This is their first time fishing on Bear Lake, and it was a chance meeting that, as you'll see, sure paid off.
Fish on!
All right.
Nice little fight, huh?
Too bad. I'm trying not to push it with this 6-pound line. These guys can get up to be about 20 inches. So we'll see what I got here.
Nice. Oh, big fish.
There we go. All right.
Nice female.
Using a kind of, I guess they call a cutter bug or a paddle tail there. Look at that beautiful fish. Great fish, great fight. Great opportunities up here. Fish. So these guys are part of the family Salmonidae, somewhat related to the mountain whitefish the anglers will catch in, say, the Weaver or Provo River. These guys, however, they put up a really good fight. They got a little bit deeper body. And they taste really great.
Anglers are targeting the whitefish right now because they are spawning on the rocks, anywhere from 5 to 15 feet of water. The spawn usually runs from the last week in November to about December 20th.
If you miss your chance to get in on these guys, one of the neat things is they're pretty easy to catch under the ice. They're going to be available probably about mid-January through March in some of the shallow areas.
I'll bring him back. Good job. Oh, nice one. Yeah, he was stout.
We're catching a few.
There we go.
But old Nathan and Norm are quick learners. They found the lure, the technique, and are killing it.
Red eye, sparkle on it with white.
And tipping it.
Tipping it with a worm. But
Yeah.
that silver with clear has really been the ticket today for me.
Yeah. How you been fishing it?
Just really slow on the bottom, letting it sink to the bottom. Start reeling in about a foot or two, let it sink all the way back down. That way keep it close. Been good, we almost got our limits.
And you caught a cut.
And a nice cut, first fish of the day.
That's one of the neat things about Bear Lake is you've got the potential to catch not only trophy cutthroat trout, but lake trout, and then when the action's great on these Bonneville whitefish, you can get into them as well. So it's a really great opportunity and a unique one that you're really not going to get anywhere else.
Fish on?
Yep. I like the method.
It's a good fish. Maybe.
Well, you know, I've heard it said that 90% of the fish are 10% of the water.
Yeah.
Nice whitey.
Boy, Nathan and Norm, you know, this is maybe their first time up here at Bear Lake, their first time chasing the Bonneville Whitefish, but they're kicking butt. Coming up on KSL Outdoors, some tips and tactics to get you up here and into some fish as well. But first, tonight's Burt Brothers quiz question.
Bear Lake is host to 4 endemic species of fish. In addition to the Bonneville Whitefish, Bear Lake is also the only place you'll find the Bonneville Siskel, the Bear Lake Whitefish, and the Bear Lake Sculpin. Each of these fish are very important to the Bear Lake fishery and especially important to the cutthroat and lake trout that feed on them. Our climate quiz question tonight is, Bear Lake is also home to an urban legend. What is this legend? Now, if you know the answer, log on to our KSL Outdoors Facebook page, give us the correct answer, and while you're at it, give us a like. We'll then randomly select and announce a winner on our Facebook page the following week. The winner, set to walk away with a Climate Static V sleeping pad. Climate, comfortable, rugged, and lightweight. KSL Outdoors, powered by Ford, returns to the Caribbean of the Rockies.
KSL Outdoors is also brought to you by Fish Tech Outfitters, Utah State Parks, Burt Brothers, Sportsman's Warehouse, Evanston, Wyoming, Climate, Intermountain Wind and Solar, and Camp Chef.
Well, this is like that last one's on was this little
Maniac
type.
minnow.
Yeah, it's a maniac minnow. It has the little fish shape to it,
Yeah.
and that's been nice. So I've caught more on this one than I have the other ones.
There we go, finally.
The key to catching Bonneville whitefish is fishing the right structure. A good place to start is the rip wrap around the Bear Lake State Park Marina. Other areas include First Point to Cisco Beach on the eastern shores of Bear Lake. Second Point, however, is where Nathan and Norm had their best success.
That was their first time at Bear Lake.
I know.
And they killed it.
They did. They taught us today. They taught us, didn't they?
Yeah, but there's some key things you need to know.
There are small lures, slow retrieves. Most of all, tip that lure with a small piece of worm. On that worm, it really ought not to be longer than 3/4 of an inch because what'll happen is you'll get short strikes.
What type of lure do you like to use here? You said small lures.
Years ago when I used to fish this first, my favorite lure was just a simple little Hustler by Southern Pro. It's a small crappie tube jig.
Yeah.
And
those still work today?
They do. But they seem to not work as better as some of the little road runners and such like that. White marabou jig are good, and color is, black and white and brown, and color isn't too terribly important. In front of their face and make sure it's got a piece of worm on it. This is a 16th ounce. Here's your 1/8 ounce, and then we have a 32nd ounce.
So real small.
Real small. I prefer the 16th. The 1/8 casts a little better, but the 16th flutters a little better. I think one of the main things you want to do, from my point of view, is make sure you fish for these whitefish or with rocks under your boat. Some people even get a mac or two once in a while. I have yet to do that, but that's a possibility.
Isn't that a cutty?
Yeah.
Nice fish.
Yeah, Brian. Bear Lake, we not only stock cutthroat, but there's also a naturally reproducing population here. What we do is we ask that all anglers release fish that have all their fins intact. Most of the time we've clipped the adipose fin, but some years there's other fins that end up getting either worn down or clipped. So we'll go ahead and see what this one has, and if it's got all its fins, we need to let it go.
Oh, well, Scott Tolentino, he is a gold mine of information.
I hold a tight line and let it pendulum back to the boat.
If you can ever talk to or fish with him or rub shoulders with him, he knows this lake like the back of his hand.
Yeah.
He's the one.
Very good at giving out information.
He is. He's taught me pretty much everything I know.
This is what we're after.
Yeah, I got to give him the credit. Him and a fellow by the name of Pat Scout and Tube Dude.
So if you're going to come up and chase these Bonneville whitefish, make sure you get informed before you do. Go to a website. Bigfishtackle.com comes to mind. Tube Dude or Pat Scouten is on there. He's got a wealth of information on there, and there's a lot of great guys, I'm sure, to help you out. And we'll also put my notes for successful white fishing at Bear Lake by old Ralph Naylor, Old Coot they call him, right there on our website at ksltv.com. Hey, some more fishing tips now as we head back to the guys at Fish Tech for tonight's fishing report.
Hi, I'm Dan Smith from Fish Tech Outfitters. I get a question all the time, how deep or how do I get my lure down to a certain depth when I'm trolling? Well, that's the million-dollar question. Well, the best thing to do is you want to get a lure like these. This one here really doesn't tell you how deep it's going to go. This one says it's going to go 4 to 6 feet deep. This one says 9 to 12 feet. And this one, believe it or not, the pop gear actually lifts. When you get them rotating blades, it lifts in the water, so it's not going to go as deep as the other ones. Now you can use lead core. If you use 12-pound test lead core, you're going to go deeper than you do with 18. And the reason why is the diameter of the sheath is bigger. The diameter of the lead's bigger, so it's more resistant in the water, which won't let it go as deep. Now, if you want to get a little deeper than that, you can also use inline weights. So the problem is, there's no scientific way of telling you exactly how deep you are. The best way to do it is go out 100 feet. If you catch a fish, great. Stay at 100 feet. If you're not catching fish, go out 110 feet until you get that depth right, and then go back out that same depth every time. If you have problems figuring out how deep to go on these lures, come on down to Fish Tech and we'll help you. Now for tonight's fishing line.
Welcome back to KSL Outdoors. I'm Adam Eakle along with Ryan Neely with Cam Chef. And Ryan, I said I wanted to eat these on the lake, and you said no problem. What'd you bring up to cook these in?
This is our 2-burner stove with some cast iron skillets. So this is a pretty cool recipe you showed me. I'm looking forward to trying it.
Yeah, I've never tried it. It's called the Lazy Man's Dilemma, learning to eat while cooking quickly. I actually found this in the New York Times of all places. Apparently, whitefish and eggs is a delicacy in England, and a lot of people here at Bear Lake do it as well.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
Let's give it a try.
Okay, so what it says is you need a ½ pound of rockfish, which we've got the Bonneville Whitefish, 3 eggs, tablespoon of butter, scallions, 2 tablespoons of capers, and salt and pepper. And I brought some Tabasco sauce because I like it hot. Okay, the first thing it said is you got to get some salt and pepper on the fillets. So get a little salt and pepper, should be good.
All right, Adam, the first thing we did was I got this thing screaming hot. So throw some butter in there.
Okay. Mix it
and
around.
now that's ready for the fish. Now, if you want some to taste good, you always add a little bit of butter or sugar.
Not the truth, huh?
Yeah.
And you covered it? You think that'll cook it a little more even?
That'll help cook it. Now let's throw some eggs on this side.
Okay, 3 eggs, I guess. Next up, the eggs. Here we go. Over easy, I guess?
That's how I like them.
Yeah, I do too.
How do you?
I like them over easy.
Now the idea with these eggs is you want to keep them runny in the middle.
Yeah.
So, and then that way it'll ooze over the fish in the end, and it should be pretty good.
Ooh, they're close, aren't they? Now the recipe didn't call for this, Ryan, but
No.
I thought we ought to throw some onions on
The
them.
recipe said to add them after, but I think it'd be best to cook them with.
Yeah.
And that fish looks like it's just about getting there.
Boy, that was quick.
Normally you'd flip it, but we had the lid on there and that cooked it pretty quick.
Ryan, that was quick. I mean, 2-3 minutes.
Well, the recipe was Lazy Man's Dilemma.
We're lazy. That was fast. They're ready to go. So let's grab them.
That fish is awesome. Look how it just falls apart there.
Oh, it looks so good.
That looks great.
Okay, fish is done. Let's check the eggs.
So we poached one of the eggs
Okay.
and fried the other 2.
Should we try that one with this one?
That looks pretty good to me.
Pretty good. Last thing, a little more scallions and then some capers, right? There we go. Now it said 2 tablespoons. I love capers, so we're gonna definitely add plenty there. Is that 2 tablespoons? About. Cool. Well, there it is. That was quick. That was fast.
That's the Lazy Man's Dilemma right there. We got a quick shore lunch.
Yeah, and I think, like I was saying earlier, I might add Tabasco sauce to that.
That'd be good. I think it'd be good.
Yeah, you know, it was like you said earlier. We cooked them up a lot faster than we caught them.
And the great thing is, it'll taste a lot better here than it will at our kitchen table.
That's true. Fresh fish, nothing better.
Yeah.
Hey, get up here and catch some of these fish. Give them a try. More coming up here on KSL Outdoors in a moment. But first, tonight's Utah Field Guide.
The Bonneville Cisco is by far the most recognized endemic species of whitefish found in Bear Lake, but there is also 2 others. One is the Bear Lake whitefish and the other is the Bonneville whitefish. The Bonneville Whitefish can reach lengths of up to 23 inches and weigh upwards of 4 pounds. Bonneville Whitefish are an important sport fish in Bear Lake, and the spawn is on along rocky shorelines right now. They are readily caught by casting small spinners from shore, still fishing with a small piece of nightcrawler on the bottom, or jigging with small spoons and jigs tipped with nightcrawlers by boat.
The run's going to go from now until probably about the December 20th. Usually just before Christmas it kind of tapers off.
The best places to try are off First and Second Points, Cisco Beach, the Rock Pile, and the rocks along the State Park Marina. Bonneville Whitefish are also one of the best tasting fish in the lake. They have a firm white flesh and can be deep fried, baked, or my personal favorite, smoked. For more information on the Bonneville Whitefish or any other critter found in Utah, check out our Utah Field Guide on our Outdoors page at ksltv.com.
Boy, when you come up here fishing, do not forget to have that night crawler in the bottom of that jig. That sure helps out, seems to entice the bite a little bit. Been a great day up here at Bear Lake. Beautiful weather, and the wind has stayed away. Let's find out that recreation forecast now by checking in with the guys and gals in the weather department. Welcome back to KSL Outdoors, back here at Bear Lake. I'm Adam Eakle. You know, ice fishing season is just around the corner. Lots of events coming up, from the Quad Fish-A-Lon to the Burbot Bash to the Burbot Classic at Flaming Gorge. For those events and many more, check our outdoors calendar page at ksltv.com. Boy, Bear Lake, the Caribbean and the Rockies they call it sometimes, is beautiful in the winter as well as the summer. And the next time you come up with your family and friends, make sure to bring your camera, take a few pictures, submit them to our snapshot contest. You might win our big prize from Camp Chef. Now here it is, the best of the week, as we turn it over to you for our snapshot of the week.
All of our snapshots are all off of this year's deer hunt. This is 37-year-old Crit. Crit is disabled, but he works hard to save all of his money to hunt. This year, Tony guided Crit to his biggest buck to date, this beautiful 4x4 taken on the Bear Mountain CWMU. Cam made some great memories on the hunt this year with his dad and grandpa. Cam was so excited when this heavy horn 2x3 fell at the report of his rifle because he knew he just bagged his first buck. Jeff and Porter say this year's hunt was the best hunt ever. Porter killed his best buck to date after hiking over 15 miles on the opening day. Jeff filled his tag a few days later with this dandy 4x4. Lane drew a CWMU hunt this year and took his mentor and father, Lane Sr. Lane says his dad took him on his first hunt 41 years ago when he was just 3 years old, instilling a passion for wildlife. Matt's 14-year-old son Aiden shot his first buck after hunting for 6 days and only seeing some does. They spotted a small 2-point and sprinted up the mountain for a shot, only to find this beautiful 4x4 standing 100 yards away. That's a great first buck, Aiden. But our winner tonight had her husband and her mom watch the kids while she went and filled the family freezer. Jerry Black is 2 years into the dedicated hunter program. On this year's muzzleloader hunt, she passed several small bucks, and her patience was rewarded with this heavy horn 26-inch 4x5. Jerry's husband came to help her load the buck, but Jerry says she was so excited to conquer this hunt all by herself. A great deer, a great shot, Jerry, that has now won you our big prize for having the Snapshot of the Week. Remember, submit your pictures or video plus an explanation of your latest outdoor adventures online at ksltv.com. The winner each week wins a commemorative 100th anniversary National Parks cast iron Dutch oven and skillet. And the winner is also entered into our Ford Trucks quarterly Facebook giveaway for a Camp Chef pellet grill.
If you're going to smoke, grill, or bake, the Camp Chef Smoke Pro's got you covered. Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors.
Well, consensus, Ralph, what'd you think of the food?
I'll tell you what, I'm impressed. I want that recipe bad.
Not bad, huh?
Not bad.
I like smoked fish, but that was pretty good.
Until before tonight, smoked was my favorite, but you know what, that's a big contender. I like that.
I liked it. You know, it's a good thing I ran into these guys at Sportsman's Warehouse, huh? They caught the heck out of the fish. What were you doing? Hold your leg up like this?
That's right. That's the way you hold your tongue.
And this is your first time coming up?
Yes, it is.
Oh, they're killing me.
Beginner's luck, I'll tell you what.
That's a humpback. Humpback whitey.
That's right.
They're killing me. But that just goes to show anybody can come up here and do this, right?
Yeah. come on up.
Yeah.
It's a great time.
If it's beginner's luck, I don't know where my luck was.
I
needed it.
Yeah. What did you think, Ryan? What did you think of the meal?
That was awesome. That's a good recipe. I'm going to go home and make that for my family. That was good.
Yeah. Tradition of whitefish and eggs at Bear Lake. Get up here and try it. Why not, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I'm Adam Eakle, along with all the guys here at Bear Lake. Remind you to get out with your family, your friends, and make some memories outdoors. We'll see you next weekend. Good night.